Health Minister Dr. Zweli Mkhize says KwaZulu-Natal has been identified as one of the key drivers of COVID-19. Mkhize was briefing the media or the country even last night on the state of COVID-19. The minister said the number of cases has increased across most provinces, and a fresh spike in infections has led to a new wave of the outbreak. Well, let's take you straight then to KZN. We're joined by Premier Zikalala. Good evening, Mr. Zikalala, and thank you so much for your time on News at Prime. Being named as one of the hotspots, and one looks at the active cases of COVID-19 in your province, they are on the incline. We're also told that some of your hospitals are reaching capacity in terms of their ICU. What is the state of the response to COVID-19 right now?
Well, thanks for having us in your program. We are trying our best to ensure that we contain the situation. Right now, the areas that are of concern to us, it's eThekwini, Umgungundlovu district, and Ilembe district council. We are following and we have embarked on the programs that we have been implementing intensively before. This will include ensuring that there is a tracing program where we trace all people who are contact and ensure that they are quarantined, and also that those who are infected are treated. We are looking on all possibilities as we move also to the festive season to ensure that we do not allow a situation where there will be an escalation in terms of numbers.
Premier, what are the suggestions that you have made to the health minister in terms of your own response to COVID-19? And we've seen different areas, especially those that are of concern, and even those that have been declared hotspot areas like your Nelson Mandela Bay, where there were suggestions about what some of the further restrictions that were needed. And it seems that the National Coronavirus Command Council has implemented those. So what specifically is coming out of KZN right now?
Well, for now, we have implemented, we have a plan that we are implementing. The plan talks to ensure that big events that are attended by many people are banned and not held this festive season. But secondly, improve strictness and enforcement of protocols in public areas, especially in funerals and weddings. Thirdly, look on how to manage areas that get overcrowded and ensure that we force people to wear masks, sanitize. We are also working to deal with the area of preparation on issues of health if there was to be an outbreak. Right now, we can say that the bed capacity that we have is not bad, and it is still able to ensure that we take more people. We are preparing, we want to ensure that the capacity, the bed capacity remains at a level where we can handle any eventuality.
Of course, you'll be expecting holiday makers from different parts of the country to make their way to your province. Are you at all going to be placing restrictions on beaches?
Well, it's an issue we are discussing, but right now we have no decision to close down beaches. We must say that we are mindful of the impact that this have had to the economy, but also to the livelihood of our people, where people could not sustain themselves, those who are selling around the beach and all over. We may end up, if numbers are increasing, we may be forced to take a decision to stop people from swimming, but allow people to be around. But there is no decision that we've taken so far. We are consulting and engaging with the National Coronavirus Command Council.
At which point will you make that call? Because obviously people are making plans for their holidays. Some are planning to come down there. So at which point will they know if in fact their plans will still go ahead?
Well, all people who are preparing to come to Durban must come. They are free to come. We will ensure that they are entertained. We are going to continuously assess the situation in as far as the increase in numbers. What is of importance is to ensure that at all time, people are embracing and implementing the preventative measures that have put in place and protocols. But secondly, ensure that the treatment in terms of ensuring bed capacity and availability of healthcare workers is at a good level. So we are balancing the two right now, and we believe that we are still in a good position.
Premier, as we have this conversation, just earlier this week, the asset forfeiture unit froze about 23 million rand worth of assets. And some of these assets belong to members who were part of your staff within the Premier's office. Talk to me about this case and some of the allegations that people who have worked directly with you are facing.
No, you are wrong. These are people who were in the department, not working directly with me. They were in the department. None of them was working in the Premier Support Unit. They were working in the department. We got them there. They are arrested for things that happened before before this administration that is in place. But by doing so and saying that, I'm not apportioning the blame to previous and former premiers. We welcome the arrest, we welcome the prosecution. Anyone who have done things wrongly and who have defrauded the state must face consequences.
Just for clarity then, Premier, are you saying that one of the CFOs was not in your office?
The CFO was in a department, and there is no CFO in the Premier's office, but in the department. I'm not sure whether you understand that the Premier's office on its own, it's a department. It has a section which is like a ministry, and then it has a section which is a department. So the CFO was in a department and was there even before I arrived and has been charged for things that happened during the previous term. And as the KwaZulu-Natal government, we are committed to ensure that clean governance prevails in all spheres and in all departments.
Are you concerned about how deep the corruption may have ran? And I know that cases are still underway, but just the fact that these issues have come to light.
It is concerning us. We are very concerned, because it is clear that in some areas and in some units or department, corruption has become something that is like a norm. We must deal with corruption decisively, and that's why we are saying we are leading in that, irrespective of who and in which department, but we're going to ensure that we deal with criminal activities and corruption within the government.
Let's talk about some of the work that you're doing that relates to the road freight sector. We know that trucks in KZN have also been some of those that have come under fire during this period. Tell us about those trucks that have been impounded at the Durban Harbour.
The trucks that have been impounded at the Durban Harbour are those that are not roadworthy. You will find that some of the trucks are just there. They are on the road, but they are not supposed to be there because technically they are not fit to be on the road. And that would have led us to say, let us impound those taxis. Then there is a second area. It's when taxis are driven by people who are not supposed to drive in South Africa, who do not have permits, because either they are coming from other countries and they don't have a required permit. We impound those and call the owners to come and ensure that they are also charged for that so that they will be fined.
What is your contribution in terms of this conversation that has been taking place around the employment of non-nationals within the freight sector, but also the very real threats that many truck drivers have been faced with as part of these on and off protests that have been taking place?
Well, we believe that the agreement we held with the National Truck Drivers Federation and the All Truck Drivers Federation is helping us and is taking us forward. because we have agreed on these operations we are implementing now. But the employers, also the truck owners, pledge to create more jobs for South Africans. Lastly, the truck drivers also agreed to put all activities aside and work with us to ensure that this solution is implemented. In terms of the policy, while we agree that anyone who is in South Africa is allowed, if that person is permitted and have a right to drive, the Minister of Labour and Employment is moving and piloting a discussion around the issue of the employment of people who come from other countries. This talk to what we characterize as, or what we call scarce skills. And we must understand that which skills do we reserve and we need from other people who are in other countries. But for general work and for driving, we should agree that that must be reserved for South Africans. But in doing that, we must not be forceful. We must not fight people on the basis of that. Let's allow the law to take its course.
KwaZulu-Natal Premier Zweli Mkhize, let's leave it there for tonight.